Louis I is really mad now, having endured a puzzle which could have been solved by punching the book.
It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
In other news, the people have decided to keep Louis IV dead for 3 quests.
You are expected in the small salon, sir.
In other news, the developers of the council are apparently working on... No, not the patch, but on a brand new narrative RPG under a Vampire the Masquerade license.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
It must have been Emma I saw in my vision.
I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay.
Yeah, bonded. I expect you to die.
They kept up a secret correspondence, which makes me think they were suspicious of someone.
And did you find out who it was?
No, but von Volner is mentioned. They were planning to make a quick getaway and were looking to hide something beforehand.
Have you got these messages?
Yes. Go ahead, take a look.
I see. I must say, thanks for your honesty, Louis.
Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
It would be more fitting for Louis II to tell you everything.
I better keep that to myself for the time being.
Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
Wait, that's a line from Peru beating up Elizabeth. Okay, that's just a badly recycled voice clip. Diversion, eh? Am I close to unlocking it? Actually, yes, sort of. Also, imagine that throughout this episode, Louis is reading 3 books every time he's off camera.
Dearly, Peru, I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
Well, it's obvious who he is.
And what has Mr. Peru done to once again provoke someone's anger?
We don't really know just yet.
I get the feeling it won't be long before it gets out.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined. What?
Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before. How dare they?
Oh, dear.
As if...
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous! Bastard! He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for 1 vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured. The response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you, too.
Of course.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
Okay, I have only one shot at this. You know what? I'll use a potion. Do I know anything about von Wöllner on this save? No, I do not. And this is Godoy. He looks like a turtle. Anyway, let's go.
Hear you speak, it sounds like you and my mother were close.
Let's say I hold your mother in high esteem, yes. We were even planning to work together.
That's what he was getting at.
Did she tell you about our arrangement?
The cat's out of the bag now. More or less, but please do refresh my memory.
Yes, of course. Nothing of great importance in itself. During one of our discussions, she spoke of an old book which might have been of interest to me, and she had agreed to let me have it.
A book about what?
Ancient occultism. As you are aware, I am a doctor of theology. You might have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
I found one.
Quite old? With locks on every chapter?
Oh no. I'm sorry, sir. This one is the Mysterium Cosmographicum, a book she is particularly fond of.
Oh, no. That's not the one.
Poor man's disgusted. I shouldn't play with his nerves.
I'll look again.
You seem very upset.
Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
I've never heard of him. I'm sorry. I haven't been much help to you.
Well, too bad.
I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Wöllner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh, and so do I.
And now, what if you told me who you really are working for, instead of keeping up this pretense?
I beg your pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Wöllner. You're the one who von Borchardt was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his business.
Let me guess.
Well, the King of Prussia is a puppet, right? It's got to be one of these two. Wait, Napoleon is right here. So this is not supposed to be a private talk. No, perhaps they're on the same side?
Lord Mortimer.
Oh, you are way off the mark. There's nothing more for us to say. Goodbye.
I better go and check out the painting in Lord Mortimer's study.
Okay, it's home then. What do you know?
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
May we?
Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
Meaning?
This gentleman enjoys people talking about him for too many reasons. His undeserved titles, more than 10 in just 4 years, and each one more prestigious than the one before.
You don't think he deserves them?
If I had seen him on the battlefield, there might be some doubt. But that is not the case. The Queen would rather not risk losing him, so she consoles him with awards and titles.
So you don't have a very positive opinion?
His coveting French Catalonia does not encourage me to have one.
I understand your point of view. Well, I'll be leaving you now. Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
What did you call me? The game doesn't tell you, but there's a secret quest active at the moment to talk to people about stuff. Instead of going to the study. And that door leads to the conference room. It's the last locked area preventing me from being able to run in a circle around the first floor. Now, there is George here. Let's bother him.
Mr. President, what do you think about your counterpart, Duke Manuel?
I'm very surprised he was able to accept Lord Mortimer's invitation, given the political situation in Spain.
What do you mean?
The situation is ready to explode with France over Catalonia.
Well, the Duke must have a darn good reason to be absent and come here, mustn't he?
When Lord Mortimer invites you, Louis, you come. It's always in your best interest.
I wouldn't say that personally, but...
Mr. President, can you tell me a little more about the coming conference?
Of course, Louis. That's why we're here. Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory regularly organize meetings like this to put forward major projects.
What do you mean by major projects?
I'd prefer to let Lord Mortimer explain that to you, Louis. Let's say he brings together influential people in order to consider possible actions to undertake to guarantee the future of nations.
Do you know the theme of the conference?
Not in the slightest. None of the guests know the theme before arriving. But you'll see, everything will turn out fine. Don't worry.
Well, thank you for your time.
Don't mention it, my young friend.
Well, that was pointless. Now, who's hanging out here? Piaggi, still staring at food.
Ah, Louis. Just the man. Good Lord. How did the king come to be executed? I would think that the Order would have intervened.
Your Eminence, I'm sorry for King Louis, but he did everything to put himself there.
Louis, how can you say such a thing? Even if France rejects the Church, you don't go and behead a person of high status. They always serve our cause better alive than dead. Politically, it's absurd.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
Well, I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
Now you wanted to speak to me.
I was wondering what to think of that Manuel Godoy.
He is reputed to be a very ambitious character, at every level. But his faith is unwavering. He is a staunch defender of the Church. You can believe me.
I'm sure a man like you is in the circle of trust. Would you know what the conference that Lord Mortimer mentioned is going to be about?
Not really, my son. Well, be it Lord Mortimer or Sir Gregory, we are never informed about the theme of the conference before it begins.
Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you, Louis.
And that was a quest to find out more clues about Mum's note. What? And here I've discovered that I can't open the secret fireplace door again, so that book I missed is gone now. But I can take the other exit from the gallery. And that's a new room. And that round meeting hall is blocking me off. Okay, there must be some new goodies here. The garden is still off limits. Oh, is it? Yes, it's a book on lockpicking. The one skill I think I... Yeah, it's the one skill I know nothing about.
There's the alchemical symbol of the earth on the lid.
It's one of those asshole 2-key locks. Why did they bother? You know, you could pick both, and with some amber boxes being accessible only by lockpicking, a player is going to get that skill sooner or later. Now, there's nothing on the second floor at this time, except for, surprisingly enough, Emily looking for her sister. I guess.
What do you want, Louis?
What do you think of our last guest?
Well, I never thought I would get the chance to meet that Hispanic Casanova in the flesh. His reputation is well known. The gentleman collects lovers, including, would you believe it, the Queen of Spain.
I doubt that Lord Mortimer invited him for his charm, if you want my opinion. Emily, what can you tell me about the coming conference?
Sir Gregory and Lord Mortimer organize this kind of high society meeting every so often in order to consider the world situation.
But to what purpose?
Well, by bringing together the most influential people from the dominant nations of the modern world, they allow the mighty to discuss matters with calm clarity. There are precedents of armistices being signed at the end of these talks, you know. Talking while holding a glass of brandy makes things easier. You'll see. You're leaving me?
Unfortunately, I have things to do. Thank you again, madam.
Madam. Alright, so now there's nowhere else to go but up.
So, what did my mother mean by going beyond the nightmare?
There was that box here. Okay, so I'm grabbing all that stuff and let's search the room for new hotspots. Such as... oh, that book, for example.
The Book of the Mortimer Family.
And?
The Book of the Mortimer Family.
Well, fine. That prompt normally indicates a choice of actions, but it also shows up when it's too early to use the item.
A family ancestor, apparently.
Can't you read the title?
A painting about a siege, dated.
Oh, wonderful. It does look a bit dated.
Might come in handy.
That's what Mortimer was shoving into the bird, wasn't it? Some red berries.
Let's take a closer look.
Oh, it's chocolate. Huh.
Dark chocolate beans. Very bitter. They're greatly prized in high society.
I smell a puzzle coming. Among other things, this letter they didn't have the budget to voice mentions the Freemason calendar, which is offset by 4,000 years. Also, its years start in March, not in January. And Mortimer's had one detail on the painting touched up. Weird. 8,156 pounds of food, 6,200 pounds of candles. What can I say? Spend less on candles. I don't remember now, but I hope this is not a part of a puzzle later on.
No, what have we got here?
Well, it looks like a model. A model of a lock.
It's as if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it.
The Nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Ah, this must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond. Hey, looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere.
It's got to be a secret book switch, right?
Okay, no mechanism behind this painting. Well, I'll have to keep looking. I don't think this book can help me.
You've just picked up that one book to mock it.
No. Let's look elsewhere.
Where the hell is it? Whatever it is.
No. No mechanism here.
Oh, hey, bird, do you know?
A mynah bird.
Waldo, what's your boy, Waldo? What's your boy? Waldo, what's your boy?
Sarah Deriche? Waldo, you know Sarah?
Stop it! Stop it!
What?
No!
Repeat that, Waldo. Sarah? What about Sarah?
Don't go! Sarah, no! No, stop, Sarah! Stop it! No!
Good God, what's been happening here? Well, Waldo, is your master good?
What's your boy, Waldo? What's your boy?
I don't really know what I was expecting.
You'd think it was impossible to sneak an audio log into a game set in 1793. Hey, what's that? How did I miss this?
Aha! I found it. Oh, what on earth is this? A ring lock now? Great. That's all I needed.
Picture Mortimer talking to someone and accidentally stepping on the pedal. Oh, sorry, could you look the other way, please? Shit.
No, what have we got here? Well, it looks like a model of a lock. It's as if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it.
Okay, the book works now. Clearly, there is a clue here.
Oh, the family tree. Let's see. All Mortimer's ancestors are called William something Mortimer. That happens a lot in noble families, but here it's systematic. Not a single generation ever breaks the custom. Looks like this family is very attached to their principles.
All lacking imagination?
The first William Alexander Mortimer. He was born in 1131 and distinguished himself during the Third Crusade, during which he rubbed shoulders with Richard the Lionheart. He showed outstanding bravery during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre. He died in 1211 in the country of Westford at the age of 80. What longevity! Nice. Nothing is mentioned about his wife. Lord William Alexander Mortimer, lover of the arts and the sciences, he took up politics at an early age. After rapidly becoming influential, he decides to retire from public life in order to organize conferences reserved for the elite with the aim of finding answers to world problems. Blah, 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 blah. He's also an only son, and the book doesn't mention any known descendant. The direct descendant of William Alexander Mortimer I was born in 1195 on his father's return from the crusade. Only son, more discreet than his father, it states that he was widely traveled. He produced only one descendant, named William Michael Mortimer. He died in 1275. There's no chapter dedicated to his mother. All right. For one, the women of the lineage are not mentioned at all. What a cavalier attitude. Right. Let's see. Who else is there? All the descendants are called William Mortimer. There have been only male descendants. All of them only sons. Strange. It was uncommon to have only one child in those days, let alone all only sons. How was that possible? It really makes you wonder if all those sons really are official descendants. I'm smelling something shady here. Only son, a descendant with a singular name. He also took a wife and had only one child, named William again. Another at random. William Mortimer again. Only son, him too. Born in 1573 and died in 1665. The Mortimers lived to a ripe old age, that's for sure. Discreet again. The summary states that he was an excellent merchant, and that towards the end of his life, he entered politics?
Well, hasn't that been exciting? Tell me more of your secrets book.
Well, well. History of the Mortimer lineage. Looks like his ancestors have always sought to improve society, and have had an open attitude towards the arts. This seems to be the list of grants and sponsorships given by the Mortimer family. In 1567, the Mortimer family financed the brickworks in Qinhongdao in China, fitted out with 51 furnaces 3.5 meters high, in guise of a protocol gift for Long King, the emperor of the Ming Dynasty. I bet that brickworks helped maintain the Great Wall.
I'm leaving the rest of patronages to Louis II because many require his skills for extra info. Oh, that's a new hotspot.
This painting isn't finished, and it looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period. Coup de Lance by Paul Rubens.
Oh, don't fall asleep.
William Alexander Mortimer the First, the 12th month of Anno Lucis, 5190. That's a funny date.
Very funny. We know what that means, though. Yeah, this is the clue letter. It should convert to 1190, give or take a few months. If you have the right skill, Louis solves this puzzle for you, just without any input, really. Now, I could dial it in, but let's look at the other paintings.
A painting depicting the Third Crusade. It's titled Winter Before the Fall of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
This has been helpful. Okay. It's a pretty bad sound effect for a dial of this size, isn't it? I think I should add a year because of the new year shift.
Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
Well, I definitely got that one right then.
Open sesame. Let's see what you've been hiding, Lord Mortimer.
A war room? We'll sort out the door issue later. If you want to read these in detail, pause the video. There will be lots of letters here. This one's about some pressure from the Russians. Yeah, Russian interference in France.
A fine-looking map of the Orient, indeed.
Nice cutscene? How's this? Some French general is helping Mortimer to intervene in Belgium and to keep the Prussians and the Austrians busy. And he has a bad feeling about King Louis. Well,
it's locked.
a friendly letter from the Emperor of the Qing dynasty of China. They don't like the British, and Mortimer has provided them with some information. William, our father is against you having a tight grip on Europe. You're tearing our family apart. Signed, your brother G. What? Wait, aren't Mortimers supposed to be like only sons? And who's G? He's coming to the conference. Godoy? Gregory? My brain hurts. Louise too, as you see. Oh, maybe George? Is Washington secretly a relative? Why is there a subtitle? Were they planning to voice it?
It shows the forces present in Europe. It's clear that France is surrounded by her enemies. However, a large number has been underlined in bold. 26 million. I know what it is. It's an estimation of my country's population. All our neighbors have far fewer inhabitants.
How is it helping? And that's a letter from the King of Britain, also a George. With a heavy heart, he's off to confront Mortimer in a war. So, it's not all smooth sailing, I guess. What is this shit? Hugh Smith about a Buttonwood agreement. Let me look it up. Anyway, it's a 1792 predecessor of the New York Stock Exchange. So Mortimer is responsible for that crap as well. From a Turkish commander thanking Mortimer for the help in the conquest of Oran. The wiki tells me the main help there was a massive earthquake. Anyway, some plague-ridden corpses are headed for France for some purpose.
This shows the forces present in America.
And here we see Mortimer messing with the royal succession in Afghanistan.
Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Tremor. He says, it is possible to drill an idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the mind gives in. And goes on, there are hundreds of good ways to live life, but you only need one to convince the masses that it's the only one possible. The author isn't letting any ethical principles get in his way, is he?
I get a point for just flipping through that book. Okay. Oh, and now I have manipulation mastered, mid-quest. That's nice. The Russians are putting pressure on the Golden Order. The Empress has ordered to confiscate this guy's printing house and stick him in a prison. Yet Russia and free press don't go well together. From John Adams. Say hello to my daughter Elizabeth for me. He wants Mortimer to convince Washington to introduce slave legislation on the federal level. We risk legalizing the hunting of blacks. Oh.
It shows the forces present in Africa. This is unexpected activity in this sector. It looks like there are also many unknowns, even for Mortimer.
The continent hasn't been colonized to hell and back yet. Although I suppose it never went back.
This is my mother's writing. I've picked up her trail. What is she up to? Obviously, she wants to lure Mortimer somewhere, but where? The only clue she's left for Mortimer is this stone sword. It must be intentional. It looks like a decorative sword, like from a statue, for example. And judging by the state of it, I'm guessing it's been left outside for a long time. I have absolutely got to find out where it came from.
Okay, so our mother has run her stone sword straight through the Maldives. But which side is the moss on? Anyway, here's another room of references. From Thomas the Tank Engine Jefferson. As for the construction of the White House, it still died to begin in October.
A table of alchemical elements. So, Lord Mortimer also studies alchemy? It seems like he's interested in everything.
But is he a fan of zinc? No.
A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of fire.
Oh, not another one of these. Oh, one key for it is right here.
Am I seeing things, or is that an actual von Leeuwenhoek microscope? Incredible. Mortimer really is at the cutting edge of science. Even at the Order, it took us ages to get one of those.
We can't science Mortimer, it seems.
An iron mask. I wonder who it's for. That must be for writing the homing pigeon messages.
Who is the most admirable of the Olympians? He reigns but doesn't dominate. Oh, it's a hint for the 4-letter puzzle box. And maybe an insight into Mortimer's self-perception? This is about a lock on a door. Apparently some parts of its design were inspired by the guillotine. That's good to know, seeing that I still need to get out of here. Yeah, it could be that dialogue. It doesn't affect the functionality of the door, but adds a bit of spice. Yeah, I bet. I also don't really want to see that.
A skeleton, by the name of Gustav, if the plaque on the plinth is anything to go by. Mortimer's given a name to his anatomy skeleton. That's morbid. Oh, his right hand is missing.
What's this a reference to?
These are feathers. Pigeon, probably. Looks like obsidian or onyx. Must weigh a ton.
The deadly D6.
Something strange about this table. The little surgeon's perfect collection.
Did you get that? He's immune to science. How's that book? An anatomy volume. I could use that.
Preservation using formaldehyde. Just as disgusting as ever.
And the last stop, the desk. The tiger of Mysore is dying, even though Mortimer has supplied them with rockets? Anyway, the British are kicking their ass.
Look, a pack of tarot cards. Has he been reading the cards? Mortimer? That would surprise me.
And I can't read them.
Some goat skulls, chicken legs. Now we all know what that's for. I'm a little surprised at Mortimer. I didn't seem as the type to be organizing little pagan parties, invoking occult powers, and dancing naked under the full moon. I'm more used to seeing cheap charms like this sold by charlatans in Pré Saint-Gervais. 3 rusty old nails. They're about 20 centimeters long.
Okay, a point in vigilance.
3 rusty old nails. They're about 20 centimeters long.
That icon is telling me I'm going to need them later.
A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of fire.
Yep, still have to find the other key. What's in these? Valerian? Laudanum? Raven's blood? That's a lot of it. Hazel? So how many ravens do you need to squeeze to get one jar of raven's blood of this size? Okay, I don't see anything else here, and, well, the game has informed me that I've examined everything. So, let's go. This has been Mortimer's secret study. Unless he has an even more secret study, which he may. You know, there's that locked door here after all. Okay, let's get out. There's going to be a catch, isn't there?
Oh, shit. How am I gonna get out of here now?
It's another dialogue.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side.
It's the same dialogue.
Looks like the same as the one on the other side.
So the combination should be the same. Except, I need to dial it on the opposite side of the wall. I kinda like this puzzle, because I actually had to pull out a pen and a paper and draw the drum to see which digit opposed which. Oh, and don't forget that what you see here is upside down. And you're spelling it right to left. And as for the room for error, well, you remember guillotine locks and stuff. Okay, let's check. Shut up, bird.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. Well, I better not dwell on it then.
Master of escape? Not an escapologist? Come on, game, work on your vocabulary. Wait, it gave me lockpicking? And I have a book for another point. So, I may actually be able to get that skill after all, with 0 point investment. Could have met Peru under strange circumstances. Well, that's for Louis II. Actually, is he Peru or Peru? Both the voiceovers and the subtitles feature either variant. It's confusing. Okay, it's suboptimal because there is a talent boosting agility a bit further, but screw it. And I want to see better. Books. Well, I'm definitely reading up on picking locks. And, diversion and science, maybe? Seemed fitting for a detective. Yeah, this law is starting to look pretty good. Let's be off to the other one.